Well, here we are, day 2 at Fusion 360 in 30 days. And I promise you that if you follow along, you're gonna go from like beginner to pro in these 30 days or so. If you recall from the very first episode, I explained that I'm only gonna go over things that I've used in my actual real life situations. And for day 2, we're gonna move right in to creating our sketches. With that said, less talk and more actually doing this, okay? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Before we even get to that, I want to point something out that may be relevant to you, and that is setting your units of measurement. It's not a huge deal, but it might be better to just go ahead and set things up the way you actually want them to be before ever getting started. So over here in the browser tree, if you remember, that's what this is called, we're gonna drop down that chevron, and we see this little ruler and paper icon, and we hover over that. It tells us our current units of measurement. If we go to the little notepad, well, actually it's the same thing, but with a little pencil added to it, and click on that, a pop-up box comes up over on the right-hand side of the screen where you can change your unit type. Now, I might offend some people here, but just the overseas flavor of units of measurement is way better. It's more common for things like 3D printing, CNC machining, and all those things. And if you choose not to, that's totally cool. To come back to why it's really not a big deal a little bit later. It's always a good idea to start off on the right foot or centimeter. Little measurement humor. All right, so let's create our very first sketch. And we'll treat this like we've just come into the program for the first time. Sketches are just virtual drawings. Up here under create, because create is about creating sketches or creating objects. Find the icon that looks like a square and a plus symbol. If it's not up here, it's just under that drop-down menu. When we click on it, it brings up the origin plane, where you want that sketch to be drawn on. Think of these like pieces of paper. It doesn't matter where you choose. And I'll come back to that again later. I always, just for whatever reason, gravitate towards choosing this bottom one. So if I'm gonna click on that, and you notice up top here, the toolbar changes. So now create looks a little different. Now modify looks a little different. And we have this brand new weird thing called constraints, which sounds a little bit ominous, but I promise it's not all that weird. Anyway, when you have a certain environment active, a certain tool active, some of the menus and toolbars will change depending on what's relevant to what you're doing at that time. In our case, it's just relevant to creating a sketch because, well, that's what we're doing. We're in the sketch environment now. It's waiting for us to select a tool to create the lines or the things that are going to be in this sketch. We're gonna go into create here. We're going to select line just because it's the first one. And what it's wanting me to do, if I just leave my mouse alone, it's saying, hey, place that first point, because lines have 2 points. Okay, I'll do that. If I just drag out to the side, you don't have to click, it brings up a box with this highlighted blue number in the units of measurement. That's how long this line is currently. It's flashing because it's like, hey, if you want to, you can type in an actual dimension in here. And when you do that, I want you to notice a couple things. A lock that shows up beside the box. That all that means is that this line is now locked in at that length. However, I also want you to notice something a little bit sneaky that goes undetected a lot. The blue icon that shows up right here where my mouse is currently, that looks suspiciously like this thing here, does it not? It goes away when I veer off to one side without placing that other point, that is. What that means is that it's horizontal. You know, based on how we're looking at it right now, it makes sense because it's 0 degrees different from the point that I originally placed. Now, if I veer off a little bit, that little symbol goes away and I start seeing a degree show up. At this moment, this line is 250 millimeters long and it is now 31 degrees clockwise to my original point. And if I were to click that line, then you see that it's locked in right there. It's got a black line that shows up right here. And I'm able to just continue on. Now I want to show you something about this sketch line. First, you can move this dimension, just click it, hold and drag it way out of the way so you can see what the heck you're doing. Or if you got it wrong and it's totally fine, you can just double click on that thing and change the distance. Say 225 is what I meant to do. Oops. Now we have a line and it has a dimension of 225 millimeters right now. I emphasize that because without dimensioning something, giving it a definitive size, it can potentially change and shift and be manipulated later on accidentally, but just know that when I say dimensioning, all I mean is giving something a definitive size and basically locking it in place. But notice that the line tool that I was just sketching with is no longer active anymore. I'd have to go up here and click it again. The escape key cancels out of whatever current tool you're using without finishing the sketch. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna go back to that line tool because there is another sneaky little thing about this. The icon right by the crosshair is like a curved line. What's that all about? And even the icon up here is that way. Well, this has two functions. And if you were to click that point and hold down your mouse button and sort of drag off into some direction, it creates an arc. If I were to just have let off the mouse button, only clicking once, it'll draw a straight line. Clicking and holding will draw an arc. Now, I'm just going to carry on from this point and just draw a straight line over here because I want to show you something else that's very important. Now, I just drew another line going back towards where I first started this sketch. See this double line here, this double line here, and then this circle with a line over top of it. What the heck is that? Well, if you look up here at constraints, suspiciously looks like some stuff that's going on up here. This double line icon here and this one here means that this line and this line are parallel to each other. And we can see parallel up here. And you see this circle icon looks like it's wearing a little hat. It just means that this line and this arc are tangent with each other. And I'm going to make my line tool active again because there's one more thing that I want to show you that's very important. These aren't closed off. We're thinking about this like a house. We're missing one wall. I'm going to click the line and I'm going to click where I left off and click here. And you see that it turned blue. What is that? What that means is that that sketch is closed. So if you are sketching later on and you notice that it has not turned blue, that sketch is not closed. And if the sketch is not closed, you really can't do anything with it in this work environment. I'm emphasizing that for a reason, but it's not important right now. Say that that's all I wanted to do with this sketch. Well, that's great. Over here in the left-hand side, I get a brand new folder in my browser tree that says sketches. If I double click on it, it makes it active again and I just finish it again. And I'm just going to rename this and call this sketch 1, just because, I don't just want to. But also down here in the timeline, if you recall from the very first episode, it also created a history of what I just did. And basically it's just saying that, well, so far, all you've really done is you've created one sketch. Notice that when you finish your first sketch, the origin that we originally started this sketch on disappeared. It went away. Well, it's not gone, it's just hidden. Once you finish with things, even sketches, they hide themselves because they think, well, you're done with me, so I'm just gonna go away now. But if you need it for any reason, you can just go over here to your browser tree and you can show it with the eyeball icon. Here's where I may get into a little bit of trouble with some people. Like I've said before, it can be incredibly overwhelming trying to nail down what everything does and all of the uses for the things that are here. But I'm going to make the argument that you really only need to learn two tools right off the bat. Line, circle. That's it. Those are the things that I believe you only need to know. If you want to follow along this little soapbox of mine for just the next couple minutes, then please do, because I'm going to show why I believe that. Let's just say we want to make a box. We're going to draw a rectangle here. And we finished it. Great, we made a rectangle. Well, you can do that with the rectangle tool, right? I mean, yeah, you can. Just imagine yourself right now that you forgot what I just did. You have no memory of it. What tool did I use to create the one on the left and the one on the right? You can't tell me. So in theory, they do the exact same thing, right? Not just in theory. In actuality, they do the exact same thing. Okay, so hold on to that argument for a second because I got some more here. I'm gonna go to circle and I'm going to go to 2-point circle. And I'm going to click this and click this because that's the 2 points that I need. And I'm going to do the same thing up here, okay? All right, cool. So let me go over here to this fancy slot tool because, you know, why not? I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here and I'm going to do this. Now, if I were to have done this instead, just to clean this up a little bit, tell me which one made which. Did I draw this one on the left-hand side with the slot tool that's all fancy? Okay. So let's say that I needed an arc to go from here to here and to be some height tall. So let me just grab my circle and just go boop, And then going back to my trim tool, let me do this. And let me do this. What is that? Looks an awful lot like just an arc, does it not? Let me see. Let me see if I can create... I'm sort of just playing this up a little bit. There are definitely benefits to using other tools, but I do personally believe that the only things that you really need to know right now are the line tool and the circle tool, and maybe the arc tool. The arc tool because of some other control that you have over the arc.
That if I were to try and drag the one that I originally created with the circle, it's going to do some funky things and stay pretty much in its constant radius. However, with the arc tool, I can do other things with it. So let me show you what I mean. I can go here, here, and I can make it a
very shallow arc as opposed to one that has a constant radius of whatever it was originally. So let me make a little correction to what I was saying. I believe you really only need to know 3 tools starting out. The line tool, the circle tool, and the arc tool. The rest of them are just fancy ways and shortcuts to getting to a very similar result. Obviously, that's not always true in every situation, but don't worry about all this extra stuff. Focus on those 3 things, and the rest of them will make more sense. All right, so I'm sure some of you aren't super impressed by that information just yet, but for people who are just starting out, it's important and useful foundational information that you will need. Now let's get a little bit more advanced. How about that? One thing I haven't showed you yet is anything that's going on over here in this what's called the sketch palette. You have what's called a line type.
You have to look at sketch grid, snap, slice, all the blah, blah, blah.
I always have snap off, and if I were to have it on, it's going to snap to these grid lines here. That can be pretty tricky. So if you notice that yours is snapping and you don't want it to, well, that's why. But the only things over here that I think you really should know is the line type. You have 2 options here. You have center line and construction. The only ones I ever really use is construction line. Click this, click the construction line, and notice that it's a dotted line. Also notice that the triangle that was once shaded blue is no longer blue. That's because this construction line is only a reference line. It is not part of the actual sketch, and it's hugely beneficial. You'll come to want to use these at some point, I promise. All right, you still with me? Because there's only a couple more things that I really want to go over to make sure that you know about the sketch environment. I'm going to go down to create and dimension because I'm creating something where this line and this line, maybe it's 2 walls of an object, need to be an exact distance apart. Well, not only can we use the dimensioning tool to set a line length, we can actually tell this line and this line to be 125 millimeters apart. Hold on to that information because now I'm going to click the line tool again and I'm going to draw an arbitrary angled line going this way. So there we go. Back to the dimensioning tool and I'm going to click this one and this one. And if I were to come out between those 2 lines that I click again, you see that it gives me a degree measurement, 30 degrees, just because. So let's just jump over to the Modify tab real quick. Only things in Modify that I truly think you should probably know are Fillet and Trim. And let's just go down to Trim. It's just like the eraser tool. Another sketch line in here that does this. And let's go back to that Trim tool. If I were to trim this, of course, it gets rid of that line. However, if I were to come down here, notice that it doesn't do the entire line. The Trim tool works in a way that only trims to a bounding geometry or an intersection of some kind. Let me close this shape off, create a triangle, and then let me go to the Trim tool because this is just extra stuff that I don't even really need in there anymore. I'm going to trim that, and then I'm going to show you the Fillet tool. It's just a radius is all it is. So if I hit Fillet and then click this thing and the thing that it's attached to, then you can see that it rounds it over and it's asking me what I want the radius to be. So now I'm going to finish that and we have this funky triangular shape. Once I've finished that sketch, I'm right back to the environment that we noticed when we first opened Fusion 360 without doing anything else. think that is really the bare bones basic stuff that I believe you should know right now before we move into the next episode, where we start creating a little bit more of a complicated sketch to then bring into the three-dimensional world. So I'm trying my best here, and if you like the video, please like the video. If you have something that you want to add to the conversation, please comment down below, tell me all about it. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss the next video. All three of those things really go a long way to feeding the algorithm monster that is the YouTubes. Anyway, I'll see you in the third episode of Fusion 360 in 30 days. So until then, I'll see you later.